I think that a lot of black women are not raising their daughters to be wives. I think
Our black mothers were able to teach us how to cook, clean up. Our black mothers were able to teach us how to drive. Our black mothers, if we're the oldest child, were able to teach us how to look after our younger siblings. Our mothers were able to tell us, you need to go get your education. Why was our mothers teaching us how to date one of the topics that were not touched on when we were growing up?
African parents will never let you date growing up, and then when you hit 25, they expect a marriage and kids.
Hey to every amazing crew at Comfort for Life. Thanks for your continued support. You're new here, I bring to you a compilation of TikTok videos for educational purposes. And in today's video, we are going to look at this very critical, sensitive topic where black women, are coming out to say that they weren't taught how to date, and now they're struggling in their adult life trying to figure things out on their own. So most mothers, most black African mothers as well, teach their daughters how to do house duties, but they don't teach them how to be a wife, how to date. And we'll be diving into this. I'll let you listen to the few stitches that I put together. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let's all be part of this conversation. And if you're an African, then this is not your experience. It is for many people. So listen up, learn something from others. Thank you.
Black mothers with black daughters do their daughters such a huge disservice when they do not teach them how to properly date. In my story that I put on here, I got a lot of questions and a lot of feedback, and comments were made such as, you didn't see the red flags. Why do you view dating and marriage the way that you view dating and marriage? And my simple response to that is, I was not taught how to properly date. All of my experience in dating has been self-taught. So whether that's me looking at other women's stories on the internet or me having to go through it, so trial and error, I was never formally sat down and taught what to look for in a man. What are the signs that a man is abusive? What are the signs that a man is jealous of you? What are the signs that a man is equally yoked with you outside of religion? So it was basically, if y'all have the same religion, y'all are equally yoked. That's enough for a relationship to work. So I was sent out into the world to navigate dating with no roadmap. I was not equipped. I was not armored at all. I didn't possess the ability to identify anything outside of physical abuse. That's the only thing that I knew was wrong in terms of dating. But I was not taught what to look for when a man is mentally abusing you, when he's emotionally abusing you, when he's financially abusing you, when he's just not into you. How to identify whether or not a man actually likes you or not. I grew up, again, being told that there were no boys allowed. And I distinctly remember the one conversation that I had with my mother about boys, and it was related to my menstrual cycle. When I got my menstrual cycle, the only thing she told me about my menstrual cycle was that it was natural and that now I could get pregnant by a boy. That's the extent of the knowledge that I got. So even dealing with that, there was a certain shame that came with me having my menstrual cycle and me having these natural feelings for boys, because I thought that was wrong, that I wasn't supposed to feel that way. And 90% of the men that I dated would not have gotten a chance with me had I been properly sat down and taught how to date. I was 19 when I brought my first official boyfriend up and then brought him home to meet my parents. I've had boyfriends prior to going off to college, but when I went to college, that was the first time that I was like, okay, this is normal. It's normal for me to have a boyfriend. So that's the first time like I truly brought up a boyfriend. Like, yes, I went to prom. Yes, I, talked to boys on the phone, but it was never, Mom, this is my boyfriend. Like, even my prom date, it was like, this is my friend. So we're going to go to prom as friends. But when I brought up my first boyfriend in college, the first thing my mother said to me is, why do you have a boyfriend? Why do you need a boyfriend? You are in college to get your education. You're not in college to have a boyfriend. So even in that moment at 19, I felt like something that I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And through that trial and error, it made me super strict on men. And it also made me not like men. Because if y'all remember, I said that in the video. And my reasoning for not liking them is because it goes back to me not being properly taught how to date them. So me encountering these men and being left with this emotional baggage from dating these types of men, it produced that disdain in me and made me not like them because of my experiences. Like, I was not taught a man is supposed to buy you flowers. A man is supposed to open your door. A man is supposed to do this. A man is supposed to do that. None of that was taught to me. All of that came from me teaching myself. A lot of my experience with men is self-taught. And me watching my mother, me watching my aunts, me watching the women in other generations and what they go through, and me sitting and saying, no, I don't want that to be my story. I would read books and say, oh, that's how a man is supposed to be. I learned romance through reading romance novels by Black authors. That is how I learned completely what romance is. I was not taught that. So everything that I learned, it's almost been like me going to school to learn how to date. Like putting myself through school, which is trial and error, books, and watching other people is how I learned how to date. And here I am getting ready to turn 38 years old. And the light bulb finally has gone off.
Like a lot of other Black women on this app, I was not allowed to date or talk to about dating in my teenage years and in high school. And so I realized just how much that's affected the way I approach dating in my 20s. I think when you're a late bloomer, you can easily have the tendency to approach dating from an anxious place where it's like, oh, I don't know what it's like to experience the butterflies or the spark. So for me, at least, when I was going on dates, I had the mindset of, oh, like, could this be the one? Could this be it? And I put so much weight on all of these interactions, which became extremely exhausting because when it wasn't the one and when it didn't work out the way I thought it would, I just got so beside myself and I jumped into this place of limerence. And so I feel like if I was allowed to date and like learn how to talk to men and what I like and who I am when it comes to what I like, I could approach dating from a lighthearted perspective and have fun. I literally had the realization this morning where I was like, this is supposed to be fun. I'm in my 20s. I am single. I have no children and I am loaded. Let me relax because, yeah, not that. But my point is, I have no actual obligations and the world is my oyster. So I reflected really quick on 2023 because I went on so many dates last year. And I was like, I had fun. I met people that I connected with and it was romantic and they showed genuine interest in me. And even if we didn't end up together, that doesn't have to be the end goal. I can date just to date, just because it's fun. Like, why is that so revolutionary to me? I know, because I wasn't allowed to date as a teenager, so I have no idea of the concept of dating for fun. And I think that's why a lot of white women are able to just up and move on, and I love it. Life is too short to sit here and wallow over one date not going the way you want to or being ghosted. Move on. Have fun.
As a Black community, we rely heavily on religion and we rely heavily on God. Now, know and understand, I have an amazing relationship with God. However, I think one of the issues why Black mothers don't teach their Black daughters how to properly date is because they rely on religion, specifically Christianity, to do it for them. And I think that Black mothers use religion as a surrogate for parenting. So instead of using it as a supplement and as a guide, they totally rely on it to take the place of actually parenting in real time. Religion can also make Black mothers heavily male centered. So their focus shifts from being, first of all, a woman, second of all, a mother. And it becomes, their identity becomes heavily relied on approval from a man. So if they're not careful, they lose the balance and they lose the focus. And so their focus shifts from being a mother to this little Black girl to being a woman who is, her whole identity is tied to religion and tied to a man. And I think Black mothers need to understand that their parental presence matters and that they cannot put religion in place of them being a mother to a Black daughter, because that Black daughter has to go out into the world and navigate the world. And what is she supposed to do when she's in certain situations? Picking up the Bible is not enough to help her navigate what really goes on in society. And I think Black mothers need to understand that religion and the Bible is not a replacement for them parenting. They need to be held accountable for this. And we hear a lot of comments about, oh, well, they didn't know. They didn't know what to teach. And by no means is it an attack. It is making them be accountable. If we don't speak up, this continues to happen generation after generation after generation. And it's all about balancing spirituality and religion with practicality. We live in a real world with real people, and using the Bible and using religion to teach your daughters how to navigate life is simply not enough.
If you're Black or if you're an African and this is not your reality, then some of us have a lot to say concerning this. I love this part of spirituality because African mothers, I would say Black mothers as well, because I've seen also Black Americans are having the same problem with their mothers with spirituality. So I want to add in another aspect that African mothers do. So you will start dating this guy and they would want God to confirm to them that that's the man that you should marry. Then sometimes you find a man that you don't even feel, and then they tell you, this is the man that God told me is your husband. So the question that I'm having right now, I've heard all this complaint, I've heard everything. You are from an African household, you are from a Black household. When you watched your parents, if you're raised with both parents, I just want to ask you a genuine question. When you watch them together as couple, were they showing that love to each other, or was your mother doing what she's training you to be? Like, were you always seeing your mother in the kitchen doing house chores, doing stuff like that, and your dad going to work? And yeah, because I feel like when African mothers teach us how to cook, our mothers, our Black mothers, to cook, to take care of our younger siblings, all those stuff, for them they feel like they're teaching us to be wives. And then they don't want us to go and date some guys, so they want us to just get a man, get married, and we continue with, that circle of doing stuff, I just wanted to understand that from that perspective. When you observe your parents, do you feel like they really love each other? Do they feel like they're really showing love to each other? Can you see that as they move around the house? Is like, do they show love to each other first? Because sometimes we are here blaming our mothers for what they have not done for us, while what we are expecting and we know is love is not in their reality. So that's what I wanted to say right here. So if you're a parent, you're a Black parent, African parent listening to this, what's your take on this? Why do you guys hide everything? Why do you hide everything from your children? I remember growing up, I also have a sister, the time that our mother spoke to us about period, like, you've gotten a period, you cannot get pregnant. And for some, they tell them, I don't want to see you ever close to a man. So for some girls, after they've gotten their period, they start running from men, you know. Yeah, because their mothers have told them that you can get pregnant if you go close to a man. So there's a lot of things. There's so many things that we can speak about concerning this. Why is that African black mothers are not open to speak to us about all aspects of life? Why is that they just want to teach us household duties instead of teaching us life with its sweetness? Like how even them, like even with their struggles in marriage, why is that sometimes they can't tell us, this is what I would expect from a man, but I'm not getting this. This is what I want to see. Like, tell us your realities, but they will hide things. You will see your parents are together, they're not happy, but nobody tells you about their realities. Nobody. Like, everything you have to figure it out on your own. I remember even giving birth. My mom was leaving the house. I never saw her in labor pain. You know, even labor pain was hidden from us. So now you get married, you're getting your kids, and you are expecting that, you know, it will be. Thank God for reading. That we have to read and figure things out, and maybe have friends who are open, maybe have open parents and who speak to them about these things. So this wouldn't be the reality for everyone who is an African, a black, but this is how a majority of us are raised. We are raised by parents who see everything related to sex, relationship, and what is taboo. So you have to figure things out on your own. So this was it about this video. This is my take on this, and and there are things that I wouldn't want to do to my children as well. I want to be open with my children. I will be bringing to you an episode of in TikTok that is happening right now of black children, African children, speaking of things that they were done to growing up that they wouldn't want to repeat to their children if they happen to have children, or for those who are already having children, things that they wouldn't want to repeat. And this is one of those. I wouldn't repeat this for my kids. I will be open with my kids. Every conversation, they ask me a question, I answer in a very correct manner, depending on their age, for them to understand things at their level, you know. That's my take on this. Thank you. You've watched to this extent. Like the video, share. If this is the kind of content you love to see and even more, kindly subscribe to the channel. And goodbye for now. I appreciate you.